Assalamualaikum to everyone. Alright, for today we are going to proceed with another new topic under law of hire purchase. So class, we have to hold the topic of law of agency because this topic will be asked in your topic of hire purchase will be asked in your second assignment later. Okay. Alright, so these are the outlines for hire purchase. First, we will start with the introduction to law of hire purchase, followed by the hire purchase agreements in terms of its formalities, okay, and then the liability of owner and dealer for misrepresentation, statutory rights of hirer, repositions, and penalty. Okay, so the lesson plans for today's lecture is at the end of the lessons today, students is able to explain the introductions of hire purchase, followed by the formalities of hire purchase agreement, okay, including the requirements, the elements that must be fulfilled in order to form a valid hire purchase agreements. And then students is able to explain the liability of owner and dealer for misrepresentations. Student is able to discuss the statutory rights of hirer and to apply it into a given situations. And last but not least, is student is able to discuss the procedures of reposition. Okay, first of all, there is one principal legislations governing the hire purchase law in Malaysia known as Hire Purchase Act 1967, Act number 212. So the scopes is very limited, okay, because we just follow the goods that have been specified in the first schedule of the Act, and it does not cover all hire purchase transactions. Okay, so you have to remember the definitions of hire purchase agreement based on section 2, subsection 1 of the Act. Okay, so these definitions is very important. You just remember this definition. Okay, hire purchase agreement includes a letting of goods with an option to purchase and an agreement for the purchase of goods by installment. Okay, so just remember this sentence for a definition of hire purchase agreement. So based on the above provisions, the two limbs of the definitions are: it will covers the letting of goods. Letting of goods means sewa, okay, with an option to purchase. So it means sewa, beli. And it also covers an agreement for the purchase of goods by installment. Okay, so you must prove that, okay, when you form a hire purchase agreements, it means that owner will letting of goods and then options to purchase. So at the end, after we finish paid off all the installment, then we consider as buying that goods. So hire purchase agreement refers to a transaction where a person acquires goods and pays them off by installment, while the title remains with the owner despite possession being given to hirer. Okay, so just bear in mind that when you sign a hire purchase agreement, okay, it doesn't mean that you are an owner of the car. Okay, so the true owner normally is the financial institution, bank. So when we enter into hire purchase agreement, we becomes as hirer. Okay. So in the case of Credit Corporation, Amber Heard, and the Malaysian Industrial Finance Corporation and another, was held that the property in the car. Property in the car here refer to the ownership. So the ownership had not passed to the hirer unless and until the hirer had exercised his option to purchase by paying the total amount on and fulfilling all his obligations under hire purchase agreements. In other words, once we make full payments of the installment, then we will become an owner of the car, and we the ownership will be transferred to hirer. Okay, next, what are the parties to a hire purchase agreements? Okay, we have three parties involved here. First, an owner. Owner is a person who has let the goods to hirer under the hire purchase agreement. So in Malaysia, normally owner referred to the banking institution. Hirer is a person who has taken goods from an owner under the hire purchase agreements, and dealer a person who acted on behalf of an owner. Okay, I give you one illustration. Let's say Ali wants to buy a Pro2 Myvi. Okay, and he went to the Pro2 car dealer. So the dealer here is the Pro2. Okay, and then Ali obtained loan from Maybank. So Maybank here considered as an owner, and Ali will become hirer in that hire purchase agreement. Okay, so this is the definitions of goods based on the schedule of the Act. So these are the goods that protected under hire purchase Act. Okay, so it includes all consumer goods, all consumers goods here, including the electrical appliance, okay, gadgets, okay, all goods. And then motor vehicles, invalid carriage here means the carriage that designed for disabled person untuk OKU, for example motor roda 3, okay, and then it also cover motorcycle, motor cars, including taxi cabs and hire cars, goods vehicles, and it also include bus, okay, buses, including stage buses. And it also includes any replacements or renewals by the hirer of any part and of any accessories added by the hirer during the period of hiring. As long as okay, you let the goods, you sewa goods tu, then you include it in the hire purchase agreement. And based on Section 2, Subsection 1 of the Act, the consumer goods are defined as goods purchased for personal, family and household purposes. Okay, so please take note that hire purchase agreement will only cover movable properties, and types of movable properties here were included into this. Okay, next, okay, in part 2, essential requirements as to procedure, form and content of hire purchase agreements. So breach of these provisions render the agreement void and to some extent amount to an offence. So here, this subtopic is very important. Okay, the formalities of hire purchase agreement. Okay, you have to follow these formalities. Okay, either owner, dealer, okay, and hirer must follow these formalities in order to form a valid hire purchase agreement. Okay, in terms of formalities, it can be divided into three process. Okay, first process is negotiation process. Okay, and then followed by the process of signing the hire purchase agreements, and then process after signing the agreement. Okay, so before signing the hire purchase agreement, owner or dealer or the agent acting on their behalf must serve the prospective hirer a pre-contractual written information. So please bear in mind that the first document that must be served to the prospective hirer, what we call as prospective hirer, dia belum sign lagi contract. Alright, so prospective. It must be duly signed by the provider. Provider ni depends siapa yang serve the notice, the pre-contractual written information. Okay, based on the provision section 4 subsection 1A, impose an obligations on an owner or its agent to serve on the prospective hirer the requisite information as stated in part 1 of second schedule. Okay, part 1 of second schedule here is referring to this pre-contractual written information. So part 1 consists of form which provide for short descriptions, okay, of the goods comprised in the hire purchase agreements. And then summary of the hirer's financial obligations under the proposed agreement. So in a pre-contractual written information, it contains this. Okay, dia akan bagi brief descriptions of the goods. For example, if you want to buy a Pro2 MyV under hire purchase agreement, so it will state the model of a Pro2 car into the pre-contractual written information. Okay, and they will give you short descriptions, and then the financial obligation, berapa you punya monthly commitment, for example. So the purpose of this serving of this document is to protect the prospective hirer by enabling him or her to make an informed decisions as to his or her likely financial commitments. So before you decide either to sign the contract of hire purchase agreement or not, okay, you may consider the monthly installment first. Okay. Section 4, subsection 3. Once served with the above documents, the prospective hirer is under no obligations to enter into the hire purchase agreements or pay for the documents. So, owner cannot force you to sign the contract, because this is only a pre-contractual written information. Dia hanya provide you descriptions. Okay, so you have no obligations to sign the contract. Okay, next under section 4, subsection 1B2 of the Hire Purchase Act also impose on dealer to serve the prospective hirer a written statement signed by him and the prospective owner. So who will serve this form? The dealer, and this is known as consent form. Okay, consent form is stated in part 2 to be filled in by the owner agreeing to be party as owner in the HPA. So when owner receive a consent form, owner will sign this consent form, and then the owner return it to the dealer, and dealer will serve it to the prospective hirer. Okay, to shows that the owner agreed to give the loan to the hirer. Okay, what is the effect if the parties fail to fulfill the above requirements? It will make the owner or dealer guilty of an offence, and the hire purchase agreement shall be void as stipulated under section 4, subsection 4 and subsection 5. So example of case, Afin Credit Malaysia Sdn Bhd against Yap Yuen Fui. So in this case, the hirer contended that by failing to give him a written statement under second schedule, the appellant had contravened section 4 subsection 1A. Okay, so the statements here, written statement here, referring to the pre-contractual disclosure of written information, yang short descriptions of goods tadi tu. Okay, so since this is a mandatory provisions, and the written offer signed by the hirer before the written statement being served was not an offer recognized by law, and as such there could not be acceptance by the hirer. So the pre-contractual disclosure is required even if the offer to enter into the hire purchase agreements come from the hirer. So it doesn't matter, okay, siapa yang offer dulu, whether a bank, okay, or whether dealer, or whether a hirer make an offer to buy the hire purchase goods, but there must be a pre-contractual disclosure. Okay, it must be served to the prospective hirer. Okay, so guys, we continue with the prerequisite of the agreements in the process of signing of the hire purchase agreement. Thank you.